I fear that even with the unwitting aid of Miss Walker, I still cannot completely control the machines in the Starlit Sanctuary. I believe they sent us to the correct ARK, but I was unable to control precisely where we arrived on it. Alas, that means the location I saw in the sanctuary is beyond my reach for the time being, along with the molten Edmundium I saw there. Confound it all. Naturally, I cannot confirm that molten substance was indeed Edmundium until I have inspected it with my own eyes, but it simply must be. It looked exactly like my samples did when I attempted to melt them down. Imagine an entire cavern of the most potent element known to man. The wonders I could create. While the molten Edmundium remains elusive, this underground forest has proven quite illuminating, both figuratively and literally. Many of this cavern's species are bioluminescent, so out of curiosity I dissected several of the glowing insects that are common here. After further study, I have concluded that the luminescent fluid found in their posteriors carries something akin to a bioelectric charge. However, I cannot determine how it is generated, and with no place to store it, said charge fades quickly. Curious. Curious indeed. What could be the cause of this? With no sunlight to provide the forest with energy, perhaps this charge comes from the soil. Yes, of course, the Edmundium is the cause. If there are truly molten pools of Edmundium somewhere in these caverns, then Edmundium minerals would have spread throughout the soil over time, allowing its wondrous properties to affect nearby flora and fauna. Even if it is not the direct source of the charge found in this forest's bioluminescent wildlife, it may have incited incremental changes in those species over several generations, which then led to their development of an internal charge. How invigorating! I could be standing in the middle of an entire ecosystem that has been absorbing the effects of Edmundium for generations, and all of its secrets are mine for the taking. Magnificent. I must admit I am glad that I coerced Miss Walker into accompanying me. Her scientific mind may be far below my own, but she can fire a rifle proficiently enough. I suppose that is no surprise. She is a colonial after all, and she never has been terribly ladylike. I hadn't noticed what a foul mouth she has either. Dreadful. However, despite her past deceptions and uncouth vulgarity, I must tolerate her presence for now. The predators here are not to be trifled with. Of course, in my youth I could have grappled them into submission. Why, I would simply pin their wings behind their backs and drive them to the ground. Yes, I'd give them a truly thorough thrashing. Oh, to be young again. Miss Walker I can tolerate for now, but I cannot abide by this barbarian. I cannot fathom how she even lives, much less how she ended up here. A primitive mind like hers could never have operated the contraptions in the Starlit Sanctuary. Yet here she stands, and worst of all, she wears a suit of Edmundium armor. The very thing I seek has already been claimed by some savage, sword-wielding tart. It's outrageous. Such a beautiful product of science should not be sullied by her blood-stained hands. No, Rockwell, you must be calm. If she senses hostility, she will surely kill you on the spot. Yes, for now I must bide my time and learn what I can. Whoever constructed this armor, I must find them. Astounding. That remarkable armor was but the tip of the iceberg. The barbarian woman has escorted us to the home of her new masters, and I can take nary a step without finding some wondrous new piece of technology, much of it relying on the power of Edmundium. The casual manner in which they use and refer to these wonders leads me to believe that while they are deeply familiar with the marvelous metal, they may not grasp the depths of its potential. Yes, Rockwell, this was well worth tolerating Miss Walker and her savage companion. I shall learn what these supposed future men know, and take it many steps further. The village has a vast supply of Edmundium, far more than my own paltry samples. In this quantity, I can almost hear it singing to me as I study it. It pulses with energy at such an entrancing rhythm that it's hard to tear my eyes away from it. The villagers here refer to it as element. Nonsense. Everything is an element. Did they seem to forget to name it? I have also been learning what they know of the charge that is common in this place, which I made note of earlier. Their own studies confirm my suspicions that it is the result of the Edmundium that permeates the caverns. That makes it worth researching. Obtaining detailed information from these villagers is like drawing blood from a stone. The red-haired woman, Diana, has been pleasant enough in answering my queries, but she is no scientist. Her naivety makes that quite evident. I simply must convince these future men to place me onto one of their research teams. That's where I'll really gain some ground. Unfortunately, they seem rather skeptical of my scientific prowess. Ah, ridiculous! I don't care what year they hail from. I am Sir Edmund Rockwell. A mind like my own only comes once a millennium. It should be their honor to have me amongst their ranks. The nerve of these people! I have never seen such arrogance and disrespect directed towards a worthy colleague. I finally convinced Diana to let me partake in the villagers' research and experiments, and I have been treated like an ignoramus. These so-called scientists dare to talk down to me. They dare to underestimate me. Fools, the lot of them. Well, I dare say I don't need them. Now that I have access to their facilities and supplies, I can research charge and Edmundium just fine without their aid. Soon enough, my knowledge shall surpass their own. Then we shall see who is primitive. Confound it all. Why am I progressing so slowly? These scientists are no more intelligent than I, yet they make continual progress while my own research continues to flounder. It's just a matter of experience, that's all it is. They are more familiar with their tools, and they have more information at their disposal. Were I in their shoes, I would have finished that ridiculous project of theirs months ago. I must work harder to account for my handicap. I shall eat and sleep in the lab and allow for no distractions. Not until my so-called peers have learned to respect the name of Sir Edmund Rockwell. At last, success! I have finally been able to convert this charge into proper electricity. Subsequently, I used it to create not only a charge battery, but a lantern as well. It was a simple matter, really. It's baffling that these supposed scientists haven't managed it already. Based on their surprise when I showed them my new invention, my earlier supposition was correct. They've barely scratched the surface of charge and Edmundium's full potential. Soon enough, I'll have surpassed their understanding of both. Yet if they expect me to share the full fruits of my research with them, they are sadly mistaken. Those who doubt the genius of Sir Edmund Rockwell shall never reap its rewards. I have at last persuaded Diana to show me this grand project those bumbling scientists are working so hard on. I am hardly impressed. If I had to guess, I would say that this gateway project is merely aping the transporter platforms present at the base of every obelisk, and crudely at that. Everyone's quite excited about it, small-minded simpletons. Why are they so eager to leave this place where the impossible is within reach? They speak of escaping, as though this was some kind of prison, when in reality it is a land full of unparalleled promise and possibility. Thank goodness this Diana woman is so agreeable. She seems to view me as her personal responsibility, and as a result, she has served my whims rather well. All I need do is assume the guise of a kindly, curious old man, and I can persuade her to see to my every need. I've nearly convinced her to escort me to the lower caverns, where molten edmundium is said to flow in abundance. Those caverns were the reason I came here in the first place, and I'm certain an excursion into their depths would yield invaluable insight. I need only push and prod just a bit more. Once I upgraded my charge lantern prototype to be vastly more portable and efficient, the village council could ignore my petitions no longer. I shall be accompanying an expedition to the lower caverns post-haste. At last, I shall be able to observe Edmundium in its rawest, most natural state. Marvelous! I can hardly contain my excitement, though I must make an effort to. The barbarian woman has been glowering at me for days. I suspect, if she could, she would watch my every move and probably forbid Diana from speaking to me. Fortunately, Miss Walker has been distracting her with trivialities, but I must still be cautious. That savage will turn to violence on a whim, and I must not provoke her. Thankfully, it seems I shall get a reprieve from all those nasty glares I've been receiving. Miss Walker has taken her pet barbarian with her on that fool's errand she's running to the obelisk. Good riddance to bad rubbish, I say. I didn't bother to learn all the details of Miss Walker's mission, but it seems clear to me now that the obelisks are a red herring. It is the Edmundium that matters, so if she and her violent little lackey want to play explorer, so be it. In the meantime, I shall journey into the heart of these caverns to conduct real science and make real progress. Excelsior! I cannot say that I enjoy wearing this bulky, inelegant suit, but Diana claims that its protection is necessary if we are to venture into the Edmundium caverns, so I shall endure it as best I can. I suppose that means I shall have to find a way to think without stroking my beard. Regardless, I am glad to be off. The other scientists that are accompanying me are rather nervous about the whole affair, citing monster attacks that plagued previous expeditions. Lily-livered, the lot of them. Science is full of risks, and this is but one more, one that shall prove well worth it in the end. I have traveled the world and created countless scientific marvels, but never before have I seen a sight so beautiful. In its rawest form, the song of the Edmundium is even more enchanting. Had I the time, I would simply gaze at it for days. Sadly, I must make haste before the others realize what I already know. That within Edmundium is the potential for a new dawn for humanity. I can see it. I can feel it. I must be the one to unlock its secrets. Our fates are intertwined, this majestic metal and I. More data, Rockwell. You need more data. You are so very close. I've done it. They didn't think I could contain it, but once again I've proven them to be a band of fools. At last, I have obtained samples of molten edmundium in its rawest, undiluted form. I must be judicious with it. I could only create 2 containment pods for collecting samples, and I may not be able to convince the Council to let me return to these caverns to gather a second batch. This will have to be enough. No matter. I have been making miracles with primitive supplies and dim-witted assistants for years. Any sample size at all is enough for Sir Edmund Rockwell. Now that I have returned to the village's laboratory, I have confirmed that raw, molten edmundium is far more potent than its solid, impure counterpart. Of course, I'm the only one that sees it. The closed-minded lackwits here that dare to call themselves scientists refuse to get close to it. They claim it will make me sick. Rubbish! The edmundium would never harm me. I can feel its warmth. I can hear it calling to me. It speaks not of danger, but of infinite potential. They're also painfully myopic. Their impure edmundium may make for fine armor, but that is a mere fraction of its true power. They will see soon enough. The villagers have been quite bothersome since I returned. It was interfering with my work. Diana kept checking in on me, claiming she was concerned, but I saw through her lies. I see through them all. They simply wanted to benefit from my genius. Luckily, I was able to distract them with a side project of mine, what I call Plant Species Z. I was studying the effects of charge on various flora and stumbled upon a new species that can act as a bioluminescent sentry. They seemed to believe that this was the center of my research, and so I happily let my samples pass into their incompetent hands. It's a paltry sum to pay for some much-needed peace and quiet. Now, it is just me and my edmundium, as it should be. I no longer need to worry about working with a limited sample size, thanks to my genius. The solution was right in front of me the whole time. I merely needed to transform the village's supply of solid edmundium into its liquid state, then rid it of impurities. It was easier said than done, of course, but I am Sir Edmund Rockwell. No problem is too complex, and no task is too great for me. Nothing can keep me from my goal. Nothing can keep me from ascending. That is the true power of edmundium. I see it now. It can take a living thing and change it. No, elevate it, yes. But I shall need to test it. Subjects. I shall need subjects. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The test went more splendidly than I could have imagined. I used one of the small glowing creatures that the villagers keep as pets for my first subject. It was a timid, fragile thing, that is, until I injected a full dose of pure molten edmundium into its veins. Then, as I predicted, it ascended. Within minutes, it grew in size and power, until at last it was a mighty, fearsome beast. Alas, that meddler Diana put it down before I could study it more closely. That was no mercy. That was as close as that worthless creature would ever get to tasting godhood, and she ripped it away. She is the murderer, not I. One day, she shall be punished for it. They dare to lecture me. Me! Imbeciles. They claim to be from the future, but they fear progress. I performed a miracle of science, and their reaction is to scold me like a child. Damn them! Damn them all! They'll never let me have another subject at this rate. How am I to continue my experiments without subjects? They may let their petty morality hold them back, but I won't let it bind me, not when I'm this close. I know with certainty now that Edmundium can unlock a species' potential. I just have to perfect the process. Even without subjects, I must find a way. I must. I may not be allowed to collect more test subjects, but I am not without resources. Rather than use living creatures, I have taken my experiments one step further and begun testing the effects of Edmundium fusion on human blood. My blood. Thus far, the results are promising. Yes, this is the proper way to do it. Injecting the Edmundium into that creature was too crude. If I first fuse the Edmundium with the subject's blood, and then inject the resulting concoction. Yes. That's it. I have it. The Edmundium knows it too. It hums its approval as I work. It knows that soon we shall be one. Soon I too shall ascend. Such power, such beauty, I can feel it within me growing stronger by the second. Never have I felt so alive. It was a risk, of course. My process is not yet perfected, but by cutting off the circulation in my left arm, I was able to contain my metamorphosis within it. Now, I can study the results before I undergo my final ascension to godhood. I must hurry. Hurry! I cannot hide my arm from these lesser creatures for long, nor can I resist its allure. It is taking all my discipline to not simply ascend right now. Yes, why don't I? I should do it. I deserve it. I know. Patience. Patience. You've waited so very long. Just wait a little longer. I've gathered as much Edmundium as I dare. The villagers are distracted with their inane celebrations, so thus far I have moved undetected. Imbeciles! What cause could they have for such joy? I have heard mention of Miss Walker, but whatever she has accomplished, it is nothing compared to what I've done. Nothing. She is nothing. I'm the true scientist here, the true genius, and soon I shall prove it. Yes. Well done, Rockwell. Well done. This Edmundium will be more than enough. With it, you shall claim what is rightfully yours. At last. At long last. The last preparations have been made. The last preparations have been made. When I set down this pen and begin my final experiment, I shall finally achieve my ultimate goal. I shall at last look down upon the bumblings of mortal men from high above on an Edmundium throne. I, Sir Edmund Rockwell, shall become a god. So on this day let earth and heaven tremble. Let the rivers of this blessed metal sing a song of triumph that echoes forever throughout the depths of these caverns. Let the unworthy drown in despair, for a great doom approaches them, and it shall swallow them whole alongside anyone who dared to mock my name. On this day, on this glorious day, I ascend. Primitive, savage, how dare you? You are nothing. I am a god. How dare you? Hate you. Hate you. I hate you. Where have you banished me? What is this place? What is this feeling? Everything. Yes, everything. The earth and the sky. Every stone and every crevice. I feel it all. What is this place? What am I? I am beginning to understand. It was hard to comprehend, for my eyes are still newly opened. I did not used to see as I see now, nor did I speak as I speak now. When I speak, it is not to a man. They are lesser beings. When I speak to this place, speak to the ARK, and it speaks back to me. It tells me secrets, things that I never could have understood as I was before. It whispers to me of something greater, a plane ever higher than the one I walk now. We can reach it, the two of us, the ARK and I, together.
Helena. Megan, don't do this. You need me. No. No. I'm sorry. Please don't leave me like this.